Hi, guys, and welcome to the Real Wellness Podcast, the podcast designed to help you heal holistically and give you the tools that you need to live a thriving life. We're making it easy to understand medicine and wellness with practical steps from the experts, one podcast at a time. Today's podcast, we're going to be talking about a really exciting topic and one that affects all of us. The crazy things that we do for beauty, that we've done for centuries, that we're still doing today, and kind of exposing the industry and talking about what treatments actually work and why we choose to do what we offer at Rare Wellness. Today we're having one of my favorite people on this podcast, Jeralee. She is the lead nurse at Rare Wellness, and she's also worked in aesthetics and cosmetics for 17 years. So she brings a ton of expertise when it comes to skincare and all things beauty. Jeralee, thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Me too. This is kind of a crazy topic. I feel like beauty can be such a good thing, and it is also wild the lengths that people go and that maybe even we've gone to try to achieve this beauty standard, and everyone has a different definition of it. So I guess, how did you first get into beauty, and what is your relationship with cosmetics and aesthetics like?
I found my love for skincare and cosmetics pretty young because I struggled with my skin. I didn't have great skin growing up, and everyone around me did. So I was constantly, at that time we didn't really have Google. I'm dating myself a little bit, but you kind of just had it was like trial and error. You would, go to Target or whatever and you'd pick up things. And I went through a process of pretty much burning my skin off and trying different things. And so in high school, I really started to just gain a knowledge base of like what products work for me, what products are good for your skin. And then eventually, I went and saw a dermatologist, which is what should do if you have questions and concerns like I did. But I also worked at Nordstrom for several years and fell in love with cosmetics and found a new passion for skincare and taking care of your skin while I worked there. So I think for me I struggled so much with my skin. So I, felt like nothing was working. My skin is horrible. My mom often was like, well, are you washing your face? And I'm like, yeah.
People who don't have acne or have never dealt with skin issues do not understand the feeling of when you feel like you've tried everything and everyone has a solution for you, but they've never dealt with it. It's such a frustrating spot to be at.
Yes, especially in, your adolescent years when everything is so traumatic anyway, and you're, struggling with your skin. That's kind of the last thing you want to be thinking about. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was how I found my love and my passion for healthy skin. So
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And it's such a crazy thing because beauty can be so fun, and doing, like, finding the makeup that you like, the skincare that you like it should be a fun experience that makes you feel beautiful and like good in your own skin. And yet at the same time, I know many people listening to this have probably also experienced that like shadow side of the beauty and cosmetic industry, and like the insecurities that you can get when you're looking at these cover girls or these different things, and it's like, well, I don't look like that. I need to change who I am. And so tell me a little bit about how you approach when you work with clients. Like, I know when I came to you and I had a consultation with you, I just absolutely loved how you made me feel so good in my own skin, and like you were telling me to like enhance the beauty that I already had versus like trying to change something. So like, where did you always have that approach?
probably, I mean, most people that know me, I bring a lot of humor and, sarcasm by default to everything that I do. So probably before I had kids, it was just pulling from my knowledge and educating people about skincare and like some of the scientific reasons why things work and, how to just enhance things naturally. And I think now I speak to it more from how I would talk to my girls because I have three girls and my son too, but mainly my girls because there's such a stigma around so much. And there's, like you said, Instagram and all these different things of how we think we should look. And so
Mhm.
when I talk to my patients and I'm doing consults, it's more from a place of we are enhancing like what you have naturally. We don't want to
Mhm.
alter. We want to just enhance and make everything basically just healthy,
Mhm.
right? And that could be as simple as an oil or,
Mhm.
exfoliation, which I talk about a lot, but it's always from a standpoint of just enhancing, never
Mhm.
changing, because we can find beauty in everything. And I really do believe that. And so I guess to answer your question, it's just how I talk to my kids and my girls, just because, naturally.
I love that, and I think especially what you said, like, your skin deserves love too. Like, just the same way that we try to take care of our teeth and our bodies, like, our skin is the largest organ that we have, and
Yeah.
it is, like, important for your overall health. Like, this thing loves you, it protects you, like, you should put some love into it and take care of it. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's less about achieving this arbitrary look, but being healthy for your own skin and, like, your own confidence, your own comfort.
Right.
So I guess before we dive into or to transition and kind of dive into today's topic,
Mm-hmm.
there are some crazy things that people have done for beauty over the centuries. While I was preparing to like talk to you, I did some research. And are you okay? If you're okay with this, I'm gonna read what I found.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I just like, these are funny. Like, some of the stuff I'm like, wow, like we really do some crazy things for beauty over history. So
Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, let's talk about it.
let's hear it. Today's podcast is brought to you by the Premium Center for Regenerative Medicine and Stem Cell Therapy in the Northwest, Northwest Center for Regenerative Medicine. Get back to the activities that you love without needing surgery. You can book your appointment at nwc4rm.com. Again, that's nwc4rm.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Rare Wellness Supplements. You can head over to rareplanthealth.com to get your supplements. My personal favorite is the premium fish oil filled with omega-3s. Again, you can go to rareplanthealth.com and get the supplements that you most need to support your health and wellness today. Lastly, this podcast is also brought to you by Rare Wellness. Rare Wellness is located on the South Hill in Spokane and is one center that provides all the wellness tools that you could need. Whether you're looking for a hands-on premium intimate yoga studio with a therapeutic emphasis, bar classes, Tai Chi classes, if you're looking for skincare treatments, injectable, hydrofacial, microneedling, organic spa treatments, if you're wanting to get therapeutic massage or book functional medicine appointments to get down to the root cause of your inflammation, Rare Wellness is the place for you. Whatever your wellness needs are, they have it covered. So to book your appointment today, go to rarewellness.com. Again, go to rarewellness.com and mention this podcast for 10% off when you're booking. Okay, time to get back to the episode. Okay, so I've pulled up my list on my phone.
Okay.
And we're going to go all the way back to 3000 BC in ancient Egypt. So women at the time used a mixture of crocodile dung and donkey's milk to reduce wrinkles and achieve smoother skin. I don't know if I would sign up. I feel like that's something that would be like a really expensive treatment in LA today, like crocodile poop
Yeah.
soy.
Right. Where is it flown in from? Also, I want to know the statistics on what the results are. How beneficial is it?
maybe maybe we'll start offering that. No, I'm just kidding. All right, now we're at first century. In ancient Rome, wealthy women use urine to bleach their hair, believing the anemia would lighten it. So if you run out of hair dye, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Renaissance Europe, now we're at 16th century. Pale skin was considered a sign of beauty, so women would use lead-based makeup, which often resulted in lead poisoning. So,
Yes. Yes. I remember actually learning about that in, gosh, it was like my seventh grade English class because we were reading Romeo and Juliet and they were talking about these women at that time using this paint and they would leave it on for days, like months. And then there would be a time that they would go through and they would literally have to like scrape it off with a razor and
ugh.
by and it would scrape off. I mean, think about your skin underneath all this not being able to breathe. So probably so many like
Oh, that's
infections or just
awful.
bacteria, blemishes, and they would like scrape off everything and then let it heal for, a week and then just right back to it.
That's
That's a
see,
thing.
that's
That was a thing.
crazy. And it's like that's so bad for you. And at one time that was like socially accepted. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
right.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible. Um, wow. Okay. Victorian era, 19th century, women used tight lacing, or we know about this one, like corsets, to
Mhm.
achieve a tiny waist, sometimes causing health issues like difficulty breathing and digestive problems from obviously like squeezing your organs too much.
Yeah.
So,
They would break
you know,
ribs to
yeah,
things.
crazy. I've even, yeah, I mean, even today, like I know there's certain people who like get ribs surgically removed and then it's like your organs are exposed. Like this is so not healthy and
No.
oh, horrible. Okay. In 1920, the flapper era popularized cigarette smoking for women as they believed that it would help control weight. So in order to lose weight, people would just nicotine addiction
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
yeah. Ancient China, foot binding. Have you heard of this?
Oh, yeah.
Foot binding, yeah.
Yes.
Was practiced for thousands of years. So for young girls, their feet were tightly bound to achieve small lotus feet. And obviously that caused lifelong deformities, for some people disabilities and pain. So just another example of the lengths and the pain. Can you imagine your bones are trying to grow?
No. And have you ever seen a foot that has been binded?
It's terrifying. I went down a dark rabbit hole on Google one time and it was
It,
terrifying.
well, and the problem too, when you do something like that, you can't just stop doing it. So you have women, in their 60s, maybe 70s, older that still have to do it because you can't just stop doing it.
Mm.
And they still have to bind their feet and, wear these tiny little shoes. And yeah, traumatizing. Too
Yeah.
much.
For, again, some arbitrary beauty standard that doesn't even look
I
good.
know. Well, yeah, and
Well,
for
yeah,
it's probably more of like it was like a cultural,
cultural thing.
but
Exactly.
still, just and why is it always women?
That's what I'm saying.
Why why were men not doing things to take care of their skin?
Right. Skincare for men. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, in 1940s, women in Europe used beetroot juice as a natural alternative to lipstick during World War II. That one's not bad.
Yeah.
That one's good. That's just another thing we've done.
Hmm.
Um, Ancient Greece, women used white lead and chalk to create a pale complexion, which could be toxic when absorbed into the skin. So same as we talked about before. Um, and then in 1950s, women started using reduce up machines, which claim to vibrate away fat. So these contraptions are now viewed as ineffective. But again, so I do actually know an older person from my family's from Eastern Europe, and um, this person does have one of these machines at their house, and I've always found it so interesting. They refuse to exercise, but they will step on this vibrating machine and just like jiggle for an hour,
It just
and
wiggles everything.
it just wiggles, but they think it helps them lose fat. So it's just
Yeah.
like just goes to show the amount of misinformation out there on health, beauty, fitness.
Have you
And
tried
then
it? When you've been there, have you ever tried it?
actually did, and it made me feel, I just laughed. It made me feel really funny.
Yeah.
Definitely did not lose weight from using it, but
Just jiggled everything.
just jiggled everything. Um, and then all the way to today, I mean, we can talk about so many different things, but there's like a lot of people who try to do like DIY fillers, or there's just non-FDA approved fillers. And like while we're all for fillers, there's also ways to do too much Botox or too much injectables in ways that can be harmful, especially if they're not approved. So,
Right. So I think one thing that just needs to be considered is when you were talking about fillers and we're talking about things that can potentially cause occlusion, like that's the number one thing as an injector you want to avoid, So when you are trained properly and you're using the right fillers and injectables, don't just have somebody, down the street doing it for you that's using something that is completely, not approved, because it's very dangerous. Things are expensive. I get that, but just go to somebody that knows what they're doing and use products that are safe, because it can cause occlusions and infection and all of that.
For those of us who don't know, what does occlusion mean?
An occlusion is basically when you get the product into an artery and it blocks it off. So it's blocking your blood flow, and then it causes necrosis in your tissue and other problems, of course. So there are ways to resolve it. However, it's still very dangerous. And as an injector, you always want to avoid,
Right.
try to avoid that. So,
Well, and like you said, getting proper like medical treatment for your skin or getting it injected by someone who is properly trained and knows what they're doing. Like, yes, it might be a couple extra dollars, but this is your face. This is your skin. Like
yeah.
it is so worth the investment rather than blocking an artery or
Right.
that's scary.
I've
Yeah.
had to tell my patients too, because some people might just come in for a consult and they are really interested in something specific. And instead of saying, you know what, we're just going to do this and, cutting it short or doing something halfway, I'm not putting my name on anything that's, halfway done. So I will just redirect and say, you know what, this is what my recommendation is for you. And if you want to move forward, let's just wait until your budget or whatever allows. And that way we can give you the full treatment and do, what my suggestion.
So let's talk about that for a second. And for people listening, it is so important and it is so hard to know. Not everyone should be trusted with your skin. Not every med spa. When you're choosing an injector, when you're choosing a med spa to go through, there are certain red flags and there are certain things that you should be looking for. So like Jeralee said, like one of the reasons that it's so easy for me, like as a patient, to like trust you with my skin is because I know that you are not going to push something on me just to make an extra dollar
Right.
when it's not good for me. And I think we do have to be really careful because, just like the same when you're going to evaluate, hopefully you evaluate your healthcare provider, we should be doing the same thing with our skin. So, what are some things that you think is important to look for when you're looking for a provider or a med spa to call home for your skincare needs and beauty treatments?
Honestly, I think it's just something kind of like, when we find somebody that we love that, does our hair, or something, there's a reason why, whether it was like word of mouth or like my friend, my mom, my whatever, it goes to this person, and now like you trust that person and you don't want to go anywhere else. Finding an injector, I think, is probably similar. I have a lot of friends in this industry and I know a lot of amazing injectors, and I think sometimes it comes down to just like personality.
Mm.
you know Not everybody is gonna maybe enjoy my personality. So I think you have to have that connection for one,
Yeah,
because you have to trust your provider. Obviously, you have to trust
absolutely.
the director, and just kind of feel it out. And if they're knowledgeable and you feel confident in their skills, you can move forward. But I think also be aware of not always just like their background or education, which is obviously super important, because most of
Absolutely.
we do continued education all the time, and there's a big network for that, which is amazing. So we're always learning. You can never be done. You're always learning something new. And I would just be aware of maybe different places that are always offering like really low prices or something like that. And not always. I don't know if that's really fair to say, but I think you just kind of do yourself a favor and just learn as much as you can about the injector, do your homework, learn about the medical spa or, setting that they're working in, and just, kind of work through it that way.
Yeah. So I guess at Rare Wellness, and for you as an injector, like what, because we did talk about all of the crazy things that people have gone through for beauty, but obviously we're in the business of beauty. So what is our philosophy? How do we choose the products that we use? Like, what is our mission and like why, obviously, if there are so many crazy things that people do for beauty? Like, how do we decide what we offer?
Here at Rare, we like to just stick to, like I said earlier, we're not altering, we're enhancing. So a
Mm.
lot of the treatments we do is concentrated on enhancing like the skin's barrier, producing, elastin and collagen, things that stimulate from within to get a natural result. Our skin is always aging. So I think for people that are looking for treatments and stuff that's going to just continuously, stimulate those collagen and elastin fibers, we offer treatments that stimulate collagen and elastin production because we want to enhance natural beauty and not alter and change too much. There's a right place, a right time for fillers and injectables. They are great if they're placed properly, but we really just like to focus on creating healthy skin from within.
Mm. I love it. Yeah. So there's so many different treatments that are offered by different med spas, and we've chosen to do certain offerings at Rare Wellness. Like, I know we do microneedling, hydrofacials. We are starting to offer this new age jet laser, and we do like PRP treatments and all sorts of stuff. I've heard of like other places offering like CO2 lasers, which I just know. Can we talk about like what are some of these different options? Can we talk about CO2 lasers? And what these different services are, and then about AgeJet as well, and why we offer what we offer.
So in this industry, there are so many different options, modalities, different lasers, different technologies. And with technology always advancing, there's always going to be another option. So when you talk about CO2 and you talk about even RF microneedling, some of those things can just be really invasive. CO2 specifically, but again, there is a right patient for that. There's a right, time. So all of these treatments can be fantastic. They just have to be, explained well and the right patient, basically. So the cool thing about AgeJet, which is the new laser we're bringing on, it's
Yay!
non-ablative. So AgeJet converts nitrogen gas into plasma energy using controlled ultra high radio frequency, which then stimulates natural collagen and elastin production in the skin. So it's a thermal energy deep within the skin. So it is non-ablative. So it doesn't cause physical injury to the skin surface, which is fantastic.
Wow. So are you basically saying that that's minimal downtime then?
Right. Which is amazing for, we're busy. Everyone is so busy. So
Yeah.
there's different settings. So you can definitely do, a higher treatment at once. But with this technology, you can do very low energy and have very, very minimal healing time and downtime.
And you still get these incredible results, because I know, like, talking about some of the other treatments that are offered out there, like I know when we were looking into getting new lasers, like when you look at CO2, like you do get results, but it doesn't it burn off like the entire top layer of your skin,
Yes,
and
it's
then you have
really invasive, but you can get really dramatic results with it. So
right. So it's like some of these other things, they work, and you're saying that with this treatment you still get the dramatic results, but you can do it without having to stay at home for a couple weeks and burn the entire top layer of your skin off.
right.
That's awesome. That's like amazing. So how long has AgeJet been around?
AgeJet, the technology has been around since I believe 2007. So it's still a newer technology, but there is enough science behind it to really just the results are pretty amazing. The fact that you can have, minimal downtime, I think is what really caught my attention. And the fact that we can treat a lot of different areas with this machine.
And we're going to insert some before and afters on the screen here. But what are some of the different areas that you can treat?
We can do it basically helps with laxity, stimulates collagen and elastin, like I said, and it helps with pigmentation. It helps with scarring. So full face, we can use it on our neck, décolleté, anywhere on the body where you have laxity, you can use this device.
It's amazing. And I know when I was looking at the different treatment options, like they had eyes, they had face, and they even did like labia lifts.
The Age Jet treats upper and lower lids, so we can really do upper and lower blephs with this
Yeah.
machine. So if you have, heaviness
Wow.
under the lid, on top of the lid, it can help with that. And it also does labiaplasties, which is really exciting. We have been trying to focus more on women's health here, and to have an option like that where, women don't talk about it nearly as much as we could, or we feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable talking about it, but it's just a great option because surgery isn't always the best choice, and to have a device that can potentially help with some laxity, why not?
Yeah. No, and I feel like that's huge because whether it's like for eyes or like intimate areas or your skin, like I know there's many people who maybe don't want to go through the whole procedure that would be required for surgery, like especially with like your eyes, like it to know that you have an alternative is huge, and especially one that's not invasive. Like this sounds it sounds incredible. So we're onboarding AgeJet at Rare. How do people take advantage of this?
Book a consultation.
Yeah.
We can
And do I have to pay for a consultation?
No, you never pay for a
Sweet.
consult at Rare, and we can talk about anything. We can talk about the health of your skin. We can talk about treatment options. Maybe I won't always give you the answer you want because I am very transparent, and sometimes maybe what you think you want isn't the best option.
And that is how you know that you can trust your aesthetic nurse because, again, guys, like transparency, when we were talking about like green flags when you're going to a new med spa, is just like know that you're going to get the most honest answer for your skin. So you guys can book a consult at rarewellness.com and you can take advantage of introductory prices on AgeJet. You can skip out on all of the crazy beauty things that we talked about. You don't have to burn off layers of your skin. You don't have to put lead on your face. You can do a non-invasive procedure that's just going to stimulate your skin's natural collagen and elastin. And literally the before and afters, which we'll insert on the video. If you're not on the video, if you're listening to this podcast, head over to the Rare Wellness podcast, and we're going to post some befores and afters there. But just truly seeing like the crazy reverse aging basically that your skin does through this product is fascinating. And again, like Jeralee said, like it's so minimally invasive. All it does is stimulate your natural production. So you guys can book at rarewellness.com, or you can call 509-846-7838 to, again, that is 509-846-7838. You guys can do that to book your free consultation and take advantage of introductory pricing while it lasts for AgeJet. This is a really exciting addition for Rare Wellness, and yeah, I'm excited, Jeralee. This is like really cool.
I
Like,
have
really
been
cool.
working on this for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I'm just like elated to be able to offer something like this to my patients and just know that they will receive just such a great treatment. And, again, it might not be for everybody, but I have so many patients that have been wanting something that can offer these services and they don't want to have surgery. So,
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. Well, before we end this episode, Jeralee, we got a couple of questions from our listeners. We may not be able to cover everything in depth today, but some of these we may even have to turn into future episodes. So if you're okay, I'm going to look up some of the questions
sure.
we got in. Today's podcast is brought to you by the Premium Center for Regenerative Medicine and Stem Cell Therapy in the Northwest Center for Regenerative Medicine. Get back to the activities that you love without needing surgery. You can book your appointment at nwc4rm.com. Again, that's nwc4rm.com. This podcast is also brought to you by Rare Wellness Supplements. You can head over to rareplanthealth.com to get your supplements. My personal favorite is the premium fish oil filled with omega-3s. Again, you can go to rareplanthealth.com and get the supplements that you most need to support your health and wellness today. Lastly, this podcast is also brought to you by Rare Wellness. Rare Wellness is located on the South Hill in Spokane and is one center that provides all the wellness tools that you could need. Whether you're looking for a hands-on premium intimate yoga studio with a therapeutic emphasis, bar classes, Tai Chi classes, if you're looking for skincare treatments, injectable, hydrofacial, microneedling, organic spa treatments, if you're wanting to get therapeutic massage or book functional medicine appointments to get down to the root cause of your inflammation, Rare Wellness is the place for you. Whatever your wellness needs are, they have it covered. So to book your appointment today, go to rarewellness.com. Again, go to rarewellness.com and mention this podcast for 10% off when you're booking. Okay, time to get back to the episode. Okay, so one of the questions that we got is, does red light therapy build collagen in skin, and does tretinoin stop fine lines?
Good question. So red light therapy is great for circulation and blood flow. So I wouldn't say that it necessarily stimulates collagen, but when you are having like the movement and the stimulation and all of that, it definitely can help from like an anti-aging perspective. I don't necessarily love that word anti-aging, but it helps just like have everything like move around. Tretinoin does not stop fine lines. It helps treat your skin. It helps with cell turnover. So anything you have which helps slough off dead skin cell layers and cell turnover will help with fine lines. Tretinoin is fantastic, again, for the right patient. I would definitely consult with your provider before you just go out and say, I need tretinoin, because no, not everybody does. It makes your skin, it can make your skin very sensitive. It kind of thins the skin in a way because you do have so much cell turnover. So if you are an avid waxer, if you're constantly waxing your eyebrows or other facial hair, just beware, because it can make you very sensitive, but you can stop using it for 5 days and usually have a pretty safe waxing treatment. But it does help with fine lines in regard to cell turnover.
Yeah. Well, and I love what you said as well, because I think a lot of times, whether it's the beauty industry or health, fitness, like we want one size fits all answers for everything. And I love, like you said, it's nuanced. Like it works, but it works for the right person in the right circumstance for the right, like not everyone needs to like eat this food and it's going to change your gut. Like it's one person might be allergic to something, the other person it might help them. So same with skin. And I just love your approach so much. What are the best natural oils for skincare?
As far as natural oils, vitamin C is amazing because it helps with dull skin. If you feel like, oh my gosh, my skin is just so sallow and I can't, there's no brightness to it, vitamin C is amazing for that because it really does brighten the skin. Vitamin E is also amazing. It helps with scarring. It helps with texture, I will say, in a way, because it's really, really hydrating. So vitamin E is a great option to help with scarring. A lot of women and men use it on, different scar tissue. A lot of women like it on their abdomen, maybe after pregnancy. So vitamin C, vitamin E are fantastic. I use a lot of combination oils. I will say St. Jane is one
Love
of
St. Jane.
my favorite. There are 20 different botanically based antioxidants in this oil, so it helps with redness, inflammation, sensitivity, hydration, and then you also get a little bit of CBD too, so it just kind of helps calm everything down. It's amazing.
Love it. Yeah, no, that's so good. Okay, this one is kind of along the same lines, but what are some holistic ways to cure acne?
Anytime I'm talking with a patient about acne, it's always, you have to find what works for you, and that's not always going to be what works for everybody else. So if you have tried things that have been really harsh, chemicals and all of that, and it doesn't work for everybody. So I always just start at the basics, and it's use a good cleanser and then always use a good moisturizer, because so often I have my patients and they're saying, oh, I don't want to use that because it's going to, clog my pores and it's going to, make me oily and all of that. But when you are using a good cleanser and or not, and it's stripping that barrier, and then you're not using proper hydration on top of it, your skin is overproducing oil. Your sebaceous glands go crazy. So
Yeah, and that will cause more acne. I know for a long time, because I've dealt with acne my entire life up until the last year, and while mine I found out was really stress based, like my skin responded to my, like, because my fight or flight system was always activated, my anxiety was super high. Like when I took care of my anxiety, my skin also like responded because my body was just less inflamed as a whole, right? Because like skin responds a lot to inflammation. But anyway, when I dealt with acne for like my entire life, I was always so afraid to use lotion because or any sort of moisturizer, which I later found out, as you just said, is so bad because then, like you said, your skin starts overproducing these oils. And listen, like if you are me, like if I could talk to me 5 years ago, or if
right.
you're listening to this and you're dealing with acne, like listen to what Jeralee is saying because she knows what she's saying. Like do not be afraid to use oils and moisturizers because it will help your skin, not hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great products available that, you don't have to spend even a lot of money on. You can use a lot of more naturally based cleansers and moisturizers. But I think the main takeaway point is use a good cleanser and then always follow with a good moisturizer no matter what, and find whatever works for you.
Yeah. And we have a whole nother episode coming out on like how to take care of your skin, a guide to skin. So all of those good details are going to be coming out on there. And we're also going to be doing another episode with a functional medicine doctor just addressing some of the lifestyle things that could affect acne. Again, like Jeralee mentioned, like it is such an individual journey and it's so different for every person, but there are basics to good skincare. So be sure to turn on your notifications and stay tuned for that episode so that you don't miss out on just learning healthy skincare routines and hygiene habits. So, okay, that's all we have time for today. We had some more on injectables and other things, but we're gonna save those for another episode. I think we should do an entire episode just let's talk about Botox, injectables, Sculptra, what's offered, and like what it does. Okay, well, thank you so much, Jeralee, for coming on to talk. I'm so excited about AgeJet. I am so happy that there are ways to achieve our skin health goals without having to go through all of that crazy stuff that we talked about. So
It's wild.
yeah.
It's crazy just to think of how things advance. And I mean, not even like from like ancient Egypt, but just even in the last 5 years. So yeah, it's exciting.
Completely agree. Well, thanks for coming on. For everyone listening, be sure to follow us at the Rare Wellness Podcast on Instagram, TikTok. Follow us on YouTube, Rare Wellness Podcast, and wherever you listen to your podcast. If this episode has made a difference for you or you found it valuable, be sure to share it with a friend so that we can continue to provide you with free, valuable advice from the experts of well-being so that you can thrive. We love you guys so much, and I'm so excited to talk to you again next time. Don't forget to send in your Q&As, any questions you have for us to ask the experts. Have a great week, guys, and continue to thrive. Bye.
Bye.